We interrupt this program to bring you an important Wayfair message. Wayfair's got style tips for every home. This is Styles McKenzie helping you make those rooms sing. Today's style tip. When it comes to making a statement, treat bold patterns like neutrals. Go wild, like an untamed animal print area rug under a rustic farmhouse table from Wayfair.com. Arr, fierce. This has been your Wayfair style tip to keep those interiors superior.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Well, yeah, we were all bummed on Friday night that Luke Bryan's farm tour did not happen over at the Miller family farm. Emily was especially bummed because she was out there.
I saw it firsthand. And
watched it happen.
I watched it happen. And first, I'd like to say I love how dedicated his fans are because they were standing once gates opened at 2 in that rain. And I felt really bad just sitting in the country vehicle watching.
It was nasty on Friday.
So the reason they canceled is because of the wind, right? It's not the rain. There's no way it was the rain. It has to be the wind because the car was shaking. And I'm like, I've seen this movie before. I don't really want to be in it because that was what was going through my mind is if there's a tornado, nothing is here to protect me.
Seriously, for real. I mean, they probably canceled for a lot of reasons,
right.
But I mean, what a shame.
I feel like wind was a majority of it. It was, but honestly, they handled it great. I thought they let everyone know right away, and traffic. I mean, I sat in traffic getting out for like an hour, but that's okay. I got to listen to our station, so it was great. It was a great time.
There you go.
Got to make the most out of it. And then I got margaritas when I got home, so win.
Oh, even better. Soccer all weekend for me. I was in the rain. I sat there. So we played 3 games this weekend, and we were at Olentangy Orange High School for all 3. It was really, really nice because I was in Columbus all weekend, which is really
so
bizarre
for
us anymore. But so soccer.
I couldn't be happier for you for that. Also,
it's good.
I just have to say real quick that I have to give a shout out to CPD because one of the police officers helped me at the Grandview Hop because we all know I am not strong. They helped me put down my tent for us.
Oh, that's nice of them.
I just need to say thank you because I don't know if I would have gotten it still to this day.
Did you not have it? Nobody was out there to help you from the station?
No, but Tess came out to help me set up.
Oh,
but
well, good.
So good people. They exist. We just got to find them.
You should have called me. I could have been there in like 40 minutes.
You were probably at a soccer game. And I honestly didn't even know you were in Columbus, so.
It's rare that I'm in Columbus on the weekends.
And why would I do that?
I watched football. It was, it was a great sit-up all weekend. It was so good for that.
Was it?
Tell me why it wasn't.
I don't know why. Once you mention football, my mind goes other places, so.
No, but tell me why it wouldn't, because you're like, was it?
I don't know.
Was it? Yes, it was.
It just sounded like something fun to say at the time, okay? Now
You're questioning my desire to just relax and watch football. And it was perfect for that. It was rain and football and gloomy and dreary.
See, when I think football, I think like tailgating. So.
No, I said sit on the couch and watch football, not tailgating.
I know, but my mind goes, you should be outside tailgating. I don't know. Just let me wake up a little bit.
In Cebus. Yeah, it feels like fall. This weekend was very, very fall.
Yes, it was.
Which, we were talking last night in the Kirsch house. Both of my girls are excited for Halloween. They can't wait. They can't wait to go. They're 13, but they can't wait to go trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
How old is too old to trick-or-treat? We were talking about that last night. What do you think?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure my friends and I still went when we were 15, 16. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I was like, I think 13 is still good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My girls
they're good.
They're both super tall. So I think they go out and they look older than they are. Last year, they started getting people like, aren't you a little old to be doing this? They're like, no, we're 12.
No, just tall. Thanks. Give me candy.
Next thing that comes up, it'll be Thanksgiving. Then for Christmas, there's a good one coming out just in time for the holidays. You want to hear about this?
I do.
Hasbro has launched its first ever Monopoly drinking game.
That sounds so dangerous.
It's called the Monopoly Board Crawl, and it has a fun twist on the classic game. It lets you sip your favorite drinks while navigating a reimagined board with spaces like the rooftop bar, the dance floor, and the VIP section.
Okay.
So there you go. So drinking an alcoholic beverage during the game isn't necessary, but of course it might make the upcoming holiday season a little more bearable if you play the Monopoly drinking game.
But do you finish the game? Or do you just pass out first, honestly?
Probably the case, because how many Monopoly games have you actually ever finished? Zero? Seriously?
Seriously, zero. I get too frustrated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and I'm like, this game's dumb. I'd rather play Connect 4.
Connect 4. I love Monopoly, but it goes on for a long time.
I love Monopoly. You should play my husband in Monopoly.
Why do you say that?
Because you
say that in such a judgmental tone. What was that?
I don't mean the judgmental tone. I'm just saying you would, because like I just feel like you would take everyone's money.
Well, that's the point of the game.
Yeah, I know, but you would rule the town. Me, maybe this is why I don't like the game, because I'm just too nice for it.
I love how you would love Monopoly.
Seriously, now I feel like you and my husband need to play because I want to know who's going to win that game. So
you would love Monopoly. That was so judgmental.
I didn't mean for it to come out like that. What is going on with me?
Your Friday happy headlines are coming up in about 10 minutes.
Monday.
Monday. It's all last week. I thought it was Friday every day. Happy Friday, everybody. Seriously, Emily, I can't figure out why on earth I keep thinking every day is Friday.
Because Friday gives you that Friday feeling, and you just have that every day, apparently.
All day last week, like Wednesday, I was like, yeah, I'm so glad it's Friday. You're like, it's not. And this morning, I'm like, we'll get your Friday happy headline. I don't know.
It's like breaking bad news to like a little kid, and it makes me sad that I have to keep doing that. So,
well, just keep me in line. You usually do. It's Kirsch and Emily. It's 6:42, 66 this morning. Might see some more rain on and off throughout the day today, and maybe even tomorrow. Everything's starting to get green again.
I love it.
Gonna have to mow the grass here soon. Let's get your Monday happy headlines. Would like to start your Mondays off with some good news.
A woman in Massachusetts, I know I said that wrong, dropped an envelope full.
Where was she?
Massachusetts. You're making me that state has always been hard for me.
Hold on. Do I need my buzzer? Say it again. Massachusetts.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm from Ohio.
A lady in Boston.
Can't I blame that? Yeah, a lady in Boston dropped an envelope full of cash in a grocery store parking lot, and a random guy who found it turned it in. The dollar amount was $12,000 in cash, and she gave him a $300 reward for being so honest.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
why was she carrying $12,000 in cash, drug dealer?
Apparently, or she's just a, wannabe Real Housewife, because apparently it happens on there a lot too, where they lose that. Fox Weather's Bob Van Dillen was all over social media this weekend after interrupting a live shot with Fox and Friends to save a woman in a flooded car. It happened in Atlanta on Friday after Hurricane Helene tore through, and he called 911. The firefighters were on the way, but he could hear her yelling for help, so he wadded in and carried her out himself, which I love, and I kind of want to cry reading that.
I saw that, and okay, I don't want to be insensitive here, but I've always wondered this. So did you see the video? Did you watch it?
No, but I have a feeling you're about to ruin this good news story.
No, I'm not going to ruin it. I wondered this when this happens, because I saw him yelling to her. He's like, hang on, we called 911. We're going to come get you. They're going to be out in just a second. And she was in her car, in her flooded car, and screaming, right? He walked out to the car, and he was like hip deep in water, maybe up to his ribs or so. And he got her out of the car, and he carried her over to dry land. My question is this: why couldn't she just get out of the car and walk if he was able to?
Maybe she was too scared. And
it's probably I saw that and I'm like, why wouldn't she just get out and walk? But okay, I've never been in that situation, so I can't judge.
Something you can't ruin for me now is this next good news story.
I'll ruin it.
Johnny Depp surprised kids at a hospital in Spain with a visit in his Pirates of the Caribbean costume. And before, he's always dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow. So he did it again. It's been a lot of years since he's done this. And he spoke and played with the patients admitted to the pediatrics and oncology ward in Spain. And he laughed.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yes, he laughed and never broke character. And I love that he still did that, even though he is not happy with the company that he starred as Jack Sparrow in. So
yeah, well, that's really cool. All right, there you go. It is time for we started this a couple of weeks ago, and I love it because Emily, the world's smallest sports fan. Yeah. I was like, not the biggest, the opposite of biggest sports fan. Goes through Facebook posts of friends to try to put together what happened in football this weekend and puts together her EndZone recap. And Emily, I look forward to this every week.
Oh, good. Okay.
So this is based on what you see on social media. What happened on the gridiron this weekend?
No idea what that means. OSU versus Michigan State was on Saturday. Yes, Saturday. Okay,
Yep.
So Ohio State played Michigan State on Saturday. First of all, I didn't realize there were that many people involved in football. There were like 50 guys on the field at all times, and I'm pretty sure some of them just ran pretending to like look busy. But from what I could tell, Ohio State was really good at getting the ball and running. I couldn't keep track of all the running, but I assume that's good. Also, it
was very good, yes.
Also, there was a lot of throwing, and when a Buckeye caught it, people cheered. I didn't, though, because I don't know why they're cheering, and I don't cave to peer pressure. So, as for Michigan State, I think they tried. They kept doing this thing where they would throw the ball, and Ohio State would like swoop in, like, nope, that's ours now. And I almost felt bad for them.
Called an interception.
Whatever. It was almost like watching someone trying to parallel park, and then Ohio State just goes, "Do you need help with that?" And
and they just take over.
Yes. And there was something about third downs again, but like honestly, I don't have any idea what that means. I guess it's important though, because
it's kind of a big deal.
Michigan State kept messing them up and giving the ball back to Ohio State, and I thought the game was supposed to be like 3 hours, but it just seemed longer because Michigan would not get off the field. So and they didn't get the memo that Ohio State was in charge. Okay, so in conclusion, Ohio State won. Michigan State needs a hug.
That's actually pretty accurate summation of that game. Okay.
Okay, so the Browns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Have fun with this one.
Oh yeah. Oh boy.
So the Browns played the Raiders yesterday, and let me tell you, I'm still not 100% sure what happened. I actually tried to watch this one too.
Neither is anybody.
There were a lot of big guys running into each other, like a lot. And every few minutes, someone would get tackled, and everyone cheered or booed. And it's like a very confusing game of tag, but way more violence, honestly. The Browns started off doing okay.
It's called Browns football right there.
I mean, they had the ball, they were running with it, so I think that's good. I did see a lot of catching and throwing. At one point, the Browns quarterback, who everyone hates, I'm just throwing that out there, threw the ball and it went really far. So I'm guessing he must have practiced.
He threw the ball and went really far.
Yeah. And then the Raiders decided they wanted in on the fun and they started doing their own running and throwing. I think they scored, but it's hard to say because both teams were celebrating and I just went with it. Someone kept saying holding, which I thought was a hug. That went too far. I don't know. Anyways.
It basically is what it is.
The second half was where things got wild. The Browns kept almost scoring, but then the Raiders were like, nah, we'll take that back. And suddenly it was like a game of hot potato. At one point, the Browns, I think, fumbled, which I think fumbling means they dropped the ball on purpose. I'm still not convinced on that.
No, it's not on purpose. Okay. Sorry.
Spoiler alert, it wasn't good. Anyways, the Browns quarterback apparently just lost the game. I don't know what that means, but people were mad. Also, the Raiders were celebrating before the clock was up. And in my mind, you don't stop till you have to. So I guess they had to. I don't know. But the Raiders won, and I just hope both teams had fun.
It's Emily's EndZone recap based on social media posts about the games. I will teach you this, Emily. I'm not from Cleveland. I'm not a Browns fan, but there is a saying in Cleveland. There's always next year.
I love that for them.
There's always next year. Like they get very excited and then it all kind of falls apart, goes off the rails, and they go, well, there's always next year. What do we got going on? So first of all, I did want to bring this up. We talked about this before, Emily. Parents behaving badly at youth sports.
It blows my mind how many stories you have surrounding that topic.
It's unbelievable. We were out at soccer this weekend, and my daughter's team, we had 2 games yesterday against the same team, which is never a good thing.
Right.
Because, they get wound up during the first game. You take a break, you go get lunch or whatever, then you come back and play again. And everybody's still fired up from the first game, especially when they lose. And especially, look, I'll give them credit. The officials were terrible. But there was a dad from the other team who got kicked out of the game yesterday.
It's always an award you want to win.
I know, right? Like, how embarrassing is that if you're a dad and you're F-bombing the officials? Yeah, and 13-year-old girls.
No. I feel like I'm surprised that other parents didn't get kicked out for going off on the dad.
Yeah, well, we sit far apart in the stands and everything like that. So it's just like they're over there, we're over here, and we stayed out of his way. But yeah, don't act that way. Don't be that
Is he
guy.
on the losing team?
Yeah, he was on the losing team.
Yeah, that's sad. That's really sad.
He's also a loser.
Yes.
For doing that
I'm
kind of
getting
stuff.
that vibe.
Let's talk about this story with Elon to the rescue.
Okay.
What is happening with this? You said there's astronauts stuck in space. I haven't heard this story.
You haven't heard this?
No,
Oh
I
my-
didn't. At soccer.
Okay, that's true. I'll give you that. Okay, so NASA sent these astronauts up for like a quick mission, right? I think it was supposed to be like 8 days. Yes, an 8-day mission in June. Okay, something happened. They weren't going to be able to get them home until February. Can you imagine being stuck up
Talk
there?
about a flight delay.
Yes, exactly. So I just think it's like comical but sad that Elon has to come to the rescue to get these astronauts home before February.
So Elon's going?
No, he sent 2 people up, 2 astronauts up in his SpaceX capsule called the Dragon. And it has 2 empty seats for the astronauts up in space to come back on. And
So here's my question. Like, if you're an astronaut and you fly up there, right, you go blasting off and you're up on the space station. You're supposed to be there for 8 days, but, you're stuck until February now. How do they, do they have enough food?
Yeah, exactly.
Do they have stuff?
I think they can send them stuff up for some reason, but I could be wrong. Don't quote me. I don't do space well. I just think it blows my mind that Elon has to come in and save the day.
He's got his little 2-seater.
Yeah.
He's sending up. He's like, all
technically
right.
4 seats. He's leaving 2 for them, but still, it's just, I hope everything goes well, obviously, but can you imagine when you get home and you're so mad at your job?
Yeah, seriously. This dude's wild. He sent SpaceX or whatever it is, or what's the satellite internet? What's it called again? I forget what it's called, but he sent that in to help the folks in North Carolina and Tennessee and everything who are out of internet and power and everything else. Elon to the rescue everywhere, I guess. Just a couple of regions who never made it. It's Kirsch Emyle, New Country, fewer commercials, New Country, 103.9.
I love that for us.
Oh, sorry about that. I just had to throw that in. I love throwing that kind of stuff in every so often because, haters gonna hate. It's Ain't No Love in Oklahoma, Luke
But I
Combs,
need
New
my
Country, fewer
acceptance
commercials. New Country
Yeah.
103.9.
We're gonna
Emily, I came across this article that talked about the things women notice about a guy
Okay.
first when they meet them. And I want to see if these sound right to you.
Okay. I'm ready.
So picture it, maybe it doesn't have to be you don't have to be single to notice this kind of stuff, right?
Right.
But most of this is probably in the dating side of things, like, hey, is he potentially for me? That sort of thing. So some of the responses in this article said his cleanliness or lack thereof is a big one.
I could see that. I noticed that stuff.
His ring finger came in on the list.
Yes, that is very important. And to any husband who forgets their wedding band, you want to be married today. So make sure it's
This
on.
sounds like an ongoing maybe pain point with the president.
Not just my marriage. My other friends have the same issues sometimes, and I get it's just a man thing. Yeah, I know yours lives on you.
I'm wearing mine.
So
I bought these rubber ones
yes,
recently. They're actually super comfortable.
women notice it right away.
All right. His eyes.
I can see that. I think I don't know. I don't notice that right away, but I feel like it depends on the eye color too.
So one that came in, actually, I'll tell you the number one coming up here soon. His smell.
I don't get that close to people.
What about like when you were single and you'd meet a guy? Would you notice
I
his
guess.
cologne or something like that?
I guess.
Clothes came in at number 3.
Okay. Kind of.
This one I laughed at. Shoes. It says, I've never met a guy whose shoes didn't match his personality. And now
How
I'm
does
really
that
self-conscious. No, think about that. I started thinking about that when I read it. And I'm like, you know what? I wear my Hey Dudes. And that, Hey Dudes kind of give you that air of, I'm just wanting to be comfortable and casual today. And that's kind of me.
I just grab the first thing I can find and run out the door.
What about a guy with ratty shoes?
I don't judge people like that though.
All right, well, that's good for you. Apparently, a bunch of women do.
Yeah.
Number 1 on this list, and I've heard this before, and I want to get your take on it.
Okay.
Mrs. Kirsch told me she noticed this about me when we first met. His hands.
I could see that. I don't really I guess I've never really paid attention, but I could see that. Yeah.
Like what about a guy's hands gets a woman excited? Is it like size? Is it strength? Is it like, what is it?
Maybe size and strength? I don't know. I've never thought of that. That is blowing my mind right now. You need a single person to
That came in
comment
at
on
number
that.
one. Yeah, we need a single person.
Yeah.
Single ladies, chime in on this. Are hands number one? You can text us at 99103.9.
Like,
What are the things that you notice
never would've thought of
about a
that.
guy?
Wow.
Hands, shoes, his ring finger. That is a pretty important one. Emily, have you noticed that the political ads this time around are just ridiculous?
Aren't they always, though, honestly?
No, like these ones are really, really bad, though. The ones that are airing right now.
To be honest,
they're so stupid.
I just tune them out a lot because I don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't like political. Have you ever seen a political ad that changed your mind about how you were going to vote?
No, I don't think they work.
I don't think they do either, but they spend all this money and they're just so dumb. Mrs. Kirsch was telling me about one she saw yesterday, and she's like, I was sitting on the couch laughing out loud at how bad it was.
I've seen plenty where I do that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's
really.
why I just want us to make our own in a couple weeks. Because
gonna write each other's own.
Be entertaining.
Okay, so I can't wait till political season is over and the election is passed, because people get so vicious and stuff like that on social media.
And I'm
And
like, I'll just be friends.
You had somebody say something to you the other day that was kind of like politically vicious, and
Yeah, but
they
like-
weren't meaning to be.
It wasn't to me, like directed to me at all. It was just
So I came up with a term that I think we need to start using as far as politics goes. So I'm going to back into this, and I want to see if you see where I'm going with this. So let's talk about if you judge somebody based on their race, what is it called? You are racist,
Yeah.
right?
Racist, yeah.
If you judge somebody based on their gender,
Sexist.
or
right?
like
Yeah.
sexist,
Mhm.
right? So if you judge somebody based on their politics, what should we call it? Politicist?
Maybe.
I think we need to come up with that term.
Go look if it's trademarked right now.
Seriously, we need to say, like, don't be politicist. Like, let's make the world a better place, and don't judge
be
people
kind.
just on, hey, look, they have a Trump sign or a Harris sign in their yard, or they're probably good people.
Just be kind, as long as they're not a crappy person. That's what I say.
That's
You
it.
know?
Don't be politicist.
It's a mouthful.
Say it. You can do it.
Politicist. That's a mouthful.
You did well. You couldn't get Massachusetts out, but
I
you
know.
can get
Yeah.
politicist down.
Oh, it's always so fun in the morning with you, Kirsch.
You struggled with that one. You were like
Words are hard.
Massachusetts
Boston.
or something like that. Do you agree with me on that, though?
I do, yes. I am also someone who's like, again, just be a good person.
That's all you gotta do. Don't be politicist. Don't judge people based on who they vote for. Judge them by how many times a year they go to Disney World.
Hey,
Chris Stapleton,
don't
Post
be
Malone,
Disneyist.
and Cole Swift on the way. How many times a year do you go? Like 17 or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that. Seems a little low, though.
New Country, fewer commercials. New Country 103.9 voted the most entertaining country morning show in Columbus.
I love
We won't
that
tell you
title
like who,
for
but
us.
we were voted that.
I love it. It's true.
We'll
Where's the
stick
lie?
with it. It's 8:29 on Monday morning. We got to talk about this for a second because I don't think anybody expected Hurricane Helene to
be as
affect
intense?
things
Yeah.
inland as much as it did. Like everybody was focused on Florida, right?
Yeah. And there's other states, unfortunately, that were affected.
I don't know. Have you seen? So Florida, from Tampa all the way up to about Tallahassee. I mean, the whole coastal region is really not in good shape. So if you like to vacation to Clearwater, St. Pete Beach, those areas around Tampa, they're pretty rough. But they're cleaning up, and they've got the resources to do it, and they've got the help they need. But man, North Carolina and Tennessee, like Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, so Knoxville to Asheville, North Carolina, just a mess. Have you seen this?
I have, and it's heartbreaking. It really
There is a town, I forget what it's called, but the whole town, I've seen the before and after, were wiped off. It's gone. It's wiped off the map. There are no buildings.
And it's just,
gone.
and they weren't prepared for it, which is even like more heartbreaking, I feel like.
Right. And this is a town, I would say, legitimately the size of like maybe Grove City or Delaware, Marysville. Like that's like the dense part of Marysville, Delaware, Grove City. That's what we're talking, just wiped off the map.
So how can we help? Because I know there's lots of helpers out there. And
Yeah, the problem is there's a lot of fake helpers too.
it's true. That is true. How do you avoid those,
So the national organizations that are helping with Helene victims, they say you can donate to the American Red Cross, like go directly to them online. There are GoFundMes out there to help people, relief funds and things like that. But be super careful if you find a GoFundMe, because some people are just setting those up saying, unfortunately, scammers saying we lost everything in the remnants of Helene. We live in North Carolina and we need your help, and people are donating to them and they're not legit. So be super careful.
Right.
Salvation Army, United Way, they've both launched funds to help people impacted by Helene, and the World Central Kitchen is another one that they say. The thing that they say they need the most, people are sending blankets and water and all that kind of stuff. They need money.
Yeah. No, but
That's really it.
Yeah. I mean, do what you can if you can with legitimate nonprofits causes.
The Red Cross seems to be the
Yes.
one that is the way to go.
That was the one I was gonna say, because that's what comes to mind.
So yeah, if you're looking to help, that's the way to do it. Just be careful. There are a lot of scammers out there trying to take money.
Which is it makes me so mad. I don't get it.
I know, but where there's good people, there's always bad. So that's unfortunate. A lot of folks were kind of bummed on Friday because the Luke Bryan Farm Tour got canceled. But Emily, you were out there and you said that it was just nasty.
It was. A lot of people were stuck when we were leaving. So I was sitting for like an hour in traffic.
Probably best that they canceled it.
Oh, yes, especially with the winds. Like, it seriously crossed my mind about if a tornado happens, I mean, where are we going to go?
Right.
Yeah. I've seen the movie. I don't really want to be in the movie. So
yeah, that would be bad. It's Kirsch and Emily. We're at 8:42 Monday morning. I am a proud girl dad. You know that.
Yes, you are. I love those girls.
So I have to ask you this.
Okay.
When you were a kid, when you were a teenager, was there a certain store that you would drag your parents into that they would be like, oh, God, here we go?
I can't remember. I want to say like Hot Topic, but that also doesn't sound right. Because I feel like when I was a teenager, I didn't drag them into stores a lot because I was just with my friends. Malls were cool when I was a teenager.
Malls, malls are kind of coming back. Like the teenage girls, they're sort of into going to the mall.
Why? What did you get dragged into?
I was in Ulta Beauty this weekend.
Yeah, you see, that wasn't a thing because teenagers now are a lot more concerned with makeup and everything.
Ulta and Sephora they're hilarious because I have to point this out. So dads, when they're in there, right, or men when they're in there, they go into ultimate dude mode where it's just like you kind of stand there and it's like, I don't know what any of this is, but I'm here.
Makes you happy. Does it make you happy when you swipe that credit card though?
Oh my God. There was one thing that I saw on Saturday when I was in Ulta on Polaris that floored me. Do you know what the Dyson Airwrap is?
Yes, and I've heard it's a waste of money from professionals.
It is $600 for, what is it, like a curling iron kind of thing, right?
Blow dries your hair or something, yeah.
Yeah, I was messing with it because they had one out that you could mess with. Of course I was, right? And I turned it on and it like blew hot air in a circle and I was like, okay, why is this $600?
Because it's Dyson, probably.
They never lose suction.
I've heard they're not worth it. I would never spend that even if I had the lottery money. So
$600 for this thing.
Let me guess, they want it.
No, actually, they were like, that's too expensive.
Good.
I'm glad.
I was like, good. If you own one of these, let Emily know if they're worth the $600. 991039. You can text her.
Why? Why did you buy it? I need to know. Does it really work? Because if it's worth the money, I mean, but
But it was funny. I will say, because of the whole dad thing in Ulta, I was walking out and two girls were walking in. They looked like they were probably 12, 13. And behind them about 10 feet was the dad. And I held the door for him and he looked at me and just gave me that nod like, yep, two dudes at Ulta.
But you love your girls. I get it.
We do.
Yeah. You took one
Don't
for the
even
team.
get me started on Sephora. So expensive.